Is everyone, please give a moment, make sure everything's set on up. For those who are just now starting the view, apparently I did not realize that they changed the URLs slightly, because I'm not sure. You can see here, this is the one I had favorited this entire time, and apparently this is a broken URL, and then the actual one is just Tiny Wars Online, and so that was the issue. So I may have missed out on a possible stream last week. My apologies. This replay here was submitted to me, but hopefully that's all now more or less sorted. That's booting on up. It's booting up. You turn live chat windows. And there we go. That's all online. Turn this visible because I don't see the YouTube messages until that's online. Looks like everything's good to go. So yeah, I may have moved that. I may have accidentally not realized I needed to use a different URL. So let's go ahead and get started. Yep, microphone's working. That's one thing I always forget to check. And this replay, was this the replay number? Yes. 808. So let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars Days Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Small on bottom side as the purple gray field, we got Roberto 58. Spawns north side as the green hawk, or not hawk, as the green Brenner, we got Siler SK. Sorry. That could sort of look like Hawk, and of course I pretty much mains Hawk. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. Brenner's course nerf from the cartridge counterpart has standard border cost, 3 radius, one expansion zone, 40 max out energy of 60 maximum energy. All direct units get additional plus 10% offense, plus 30% defense, and for superpower, 3 health recovery. And of course, for Greyfield, he's been buffed from the cartridge counterpart. His current iteration is standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 3660. All units get plus 10, plus 10. Transport and handful of vehicles get plus 10% offense, plus 40% defense. Rig and T-Coffers have 10 or 1,000 resource cost reduction, and seaplanes can be deployed at airports. For superpower, provide all that global, also recover fuel, ammo, and materials. And naval units and those same transports, which is Rig, B-Copters, T-Copters, seaplanes, all the naval transports get additional 1 movement. So, let's go and get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. Infantry bike. Oh, was always a second city capture there? I don't remember bike initial. Oh, maybe that's a buff on... No? Player 2 has it. I guess maybe this map 1 forever suddenly changed, because I don't remember people able to get turn 1 bike on this map. I also just want to double check. I'm pretty sure this is the replay that was submitted to me. Yep, 1808, and that's this replay. Just infantry there by Greyfield, so next turn he will have... Is it an explosion? Or it must be a meteorite detonating in the sky. And somebody realized I forgot as well, I have a drink nearby, I need to open it up. Oh, I just realized I didn't see your first comment there, probably didn't have it open up yet. Howdy. Tank, infantry, and infantry. So both players have gone for tank. Will they tank the tank, or the tank being forced to tank the tank? Triple infantry there, keeping 3,500 funds in the bank. Moving more down south, which could be a good bait. Infantry's out of range, so it'll be a good shot on the seal bike. but that'll leave it vulnerable to this tank. Of course, Greyfield can deploy out seaplanes for 15,000 G. No initial engagements just yet. Infantry's in range of infantry, but probably won't be seeing engagement there. Infantry, tank, and infantry. Greyfield now has 18,000 money, so he could go for a seaplane this turn. Tank, infantry. And infantry. Keeping 8,500 bank. Could go for something a little bit heavier, like his own waistline. Got 2 tanks over here. Of course, it will have the aura to support. Wasteland does provide 2 defense stars. 66 fuel, 6 ammo, you monster. Does it the infantry unit there? Do have a seaplane now pulling fuel with 8,000 funds left over. He did go for 1 infantry and infantry. He may seal the seaplane. Seeing the seaplane, Brenner needs to pull out a counter unit, such as an anti-air. I doubt he'll go for a cruiser. Or when a cruiser goes cruising for a bruising, it would be himself getting bruised. Again, tank, anti-air, and infantry. Does get an initial strike there, but the extra defense did come in handy. Anti-air so far away, seaplane should be able to get 1 more sortie off. He did end his turn on top of a temporary port, so he will get his fuel and ammo back at the start of next turn. Very nice. Greyfield's at 8 energy. Brenner's only at 6. Tanks are good options nonetheless, but Greyfield's definitely not built for tanks. He is sort of outrunning his own anti-air, so this seaplane will get a good shot off. This anti-air will be able to range the seaplane where it's at, but that's about it. Hell, he won't be able to even range the seaplane if it does take a shot against the CO bike. Should be able to range the battle copter gets it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yep, seaplane should avoid hitting the battle copter, but has 2 nice tanks here. Hits said tank. Tank goes down. Another tank hits a tank. Greyfield's a nice even 23 energy. Anti-air, artillery, and tank. Nice line of infantry for both sides. The bike does fall back. Keep these infantry units alive. His CO power, of course, can repair, heal them up by 3. Good luck at trying to actually getting that accomplished. Do not have a rig to pull in the field to rig the game. Infantry, artillery. Does interrupt the capture of the radar station. Seaplane does fall back to temporary airport. I now am starting to really appreciate the fact that this map starts with both players with 2 captured temporary airports. This makes seaplanes far more usable. Only a bit of accidental design on this map, since this is not exactly a map you see seaplanes. compare what maps you generally see seaplanes. Battleship, now deployed on the field by Brenner. Tank does the tank. Brenner's on 32 energy. We do have now a rig deployed in the field as well by Greyfield. Luckily, this materials can rapidly be recovered multiple times. Seaplane strikes a 8 infantry there for a nice, easy power charge, giving +1 radius, which could allow this 9 health tank to be struck by the full health Veteran Suit 1 tank. The full health Veteran Suit 1 tank does not attack that 9 health tank. This generally comes off a Greyfield map even before the update. Yeah, I can see that. I know this iteration of Greyfield doesn't have the firepower bonuses, now has +1 range for his naval and transport units, which for a superpower is not that great. Cruiser as well. The rig has pulled out over there, so now his ships can go down to this spot here. Tank does hit the artillery, infantry hits infantry, infantry hits infantry, infantry hits infantry, infantry hits infantry. Resupplies seaplane before advancing. Nothing to contest the seaplane really. We do have anti-air here, but there's 2 tanks versus 1 tank. And a battle copter is also heading over to the west. We do now have another rig deployed in the game. Ready to rig the game. Seaplane does strike the anti-air. It does have a severe amount of extra defense. And of course does fall back a little bit, preventing the cruiser from hitting it, and also sort of trapping the aircraft carrier. Sacks itself, donating some power charge. Greyfield is at 41, Hawk's at 40. Not Hawk, Brenner. I swear, green Siler SK, I just assume it's Hawk. And from the corner of my eye, that really sort of does like look like Hawk a little bit. Does get a shot there, 48 energy. Does not go towards this here, but he is low on, out of ammo and only 13 fuel. So does need to start traversing towards the rig. The rig is about 2 turns away, so he actually does need to stick close to the rig right now. Does take out the artillery, hits the anti-air, allowing the seaplane. Bit of free reign, battlecopter also ruffling about. Does take out that infantry unit there. Anti-air bomber commits a double base skip. Brandon does come off as adult Jake? I don't see that. When it comes to the effects of powers and superpowers, honestly, Isabella is very, very close to Jake. With a lot of aspects. Rather just general offense, rather than just planes bonuses. Oh, got the superpower there, getting some health regen. Allow this anti-air to get a good strike on the seaplane. A lot of aspects, Isabella and Jake are very similar in the powers, effects, top powers, and superpower. And to be frank, I don't really know the personality of Jake all too well. He is basically the most forgettable character in Advanced Wars, in my opinion. Does pull out temporary seaport there. Anti-tank, tank, and infantry. Anti-tank's probably going to help lock down the central avenue. This rig may go and head down south to deploy our temporary air seaport there. Maybe a battleship there would be very nice. I mean, design-wise, not gameplay-wise. I just don't see that. Jake has earbuds. Or was it not earbuds? I think it's actually his summer skin. He has a headset. He's listening to music. Probably Brenner's theme. Artillery, Duster, Infantry, and Tank. Clearly all the music in Days of Ruin, or at least most of it, was created by Jake, right? Battleship. Seaplane does fall back. It's at 53 energy, so it does not have enough for superpower at the moment. And we do also have another temporary seaport here. So we've got quite a bit of traversable waters available for each player. Of course, these remain shores, so the blue waterships cannot pass that region, which may or may not be good. It'd be good to keep the battleships safe, say, from a submarine. That was what the temporary seaport there. That was strike the infantry unit twice. Nothing to stop the Duster. Interior is way down here. But Duster's only a small threat, primarily to infantry. Battlecopter, double infantry, and anti-air. Saw that unit there. Seaplane does end its turn on the airport. Right now, Brenner does have 186,000. Grave has 185, but he's player 2, so he still has his day-to-day advantage, funds advantage. But it does feel like Brenner has a better position in this game, having basic full supremacy, naval supremacy in the center of the map with 2 battleships. Greyfield does have his 1. Might be a good idea for this full infantry to blitz and strike that anti-tank. Takes out 6 health infantry, takes out 7 health infantry, hits the infantry twice. Does hit the anti-tank. Hits the battleship. Hits the anti-tank again. Greyfield now has the superpower, however, you have to use a seaplane's turn for that, and he sort of needs a seaplane. Oops. What button? I hit Alt. But he will probably need to use a seaplane's turn. That would be a safe strike to take out the battleships, as the cruiser has the shores here, so we can't reach the seaplane on this side of the map. So that would be a safe engagement. Does take out the battlecopter. Another bomber. Anti-tank strikes. Battleship men strike the cruiser. And hitting that cruiser means the bombers and seaplanes have more free reign in the center of the map. Not to mention, you can start picking off some of these anti-airs with the max out veterancy bomber, and also the supporting bomber. That was flip the city there. 25,000 versus 27,000, so Greyfield still has the advantage. Infantry does strike the infantry. Duster. I suppose this cruiser can be repaired by this temporary seaport, but the battleship is in range. So the battleship can sink the cruiser. And then his bombers can start pushing way forward. Gunboat is advancing, which can cause some issues. Probably mostly blocking bridges. Fighter deployed in the field. More infantry. War tank still pushing up north. Burners right now at 25 energy. Submarine is here. Which, actuality, maybe the gunboat was there to block the submarine pathing. But the gunboat can easily go down. Two things so factually with a gun, because it doesn't actually have a gun. It has torpedoes. Battleship does get struck twice, and now thrice. Battleship, you sunk my battleship! Sorry, had to go with that. Battlecopters in range as well as a duster, but you have to use a seaplane for that. Gunboat advancing. Seaplane does hit the... Ooh! Having a bomber get trapped in a submarine is... That may actually be game losing. We got a bomber or the AT in range. Duster can help finish it off with only 3 health, but could be sealed powered. After all, Brenner has 48 energy. Good chance he gets the seal power going this turn. That might be game losing, that trap. I'm not sure if it's going to strike the battleship or the bike. But that's just huge. And battleships don't have the extra defense from Brenner's aura. Submarine goes and clean up the gunboat. He's actually pushing forward, but probably trying to get some damage on his units so it can get repaired. Right now at 180,000 goes for mech. Like, this is a turn for CO power, that's for sure. Battleship gets a strike there, but it's in CO zone, so it's not like it's losing much. Pop superpowered. Hits both bombers, so the 2 bombers can merge into a 10 health bomb. That's probably a good idea. Greyfield has a superpower available. His own seaplane has 9 fuel. It burns 5 fuel per turn, so you can only move it 3 tiles. Okay, he can engage this duster safely. Battlecopter hits the bomb ATR. Pop superpower. It's almost, I thought it was some sort of explosion effect up there. I must be going a bit crazy. Nine health fighter still flying about. Maybe hit that AA, not duster. Blah. Seaplane, bike. Sack some units there. Giving the war tank convection save may not be a good idea. I see those AAs are far behind schedule. True. But yeah, there's a lot of seaplanes. Missiles wouldn't be half bad right now. It does have another cruiser here, which can go ahead and take on the bomber. The bomber does not get extra defense, not one of the Greyfield's units. Submarine does fall back. Let's see, they're pretty even value right now. But, of course, like you said, the AAs. Duster does dogfight a fighter. Got a good number of these seaplanes here. 2 A's back here with cruisers still cruising around. Gunboat. Another gunboat. Seaplanes do fall back. Maybe could have been a bit more forward. Maybe just trying to avoid the ATRs. Probably a good idea to get this rig over here to get the resupplies going. You think another submarine block? Another seaplane rigged to rig the game. Battlecopter gets a good strike in the war tank. Another infantry unit. And another infantry unit. Battleship takes out a tank. 1 health war tank does fall back. Artillery battlecopter. This submarine is basically a landmine. Hits the infantry, interrupts the capture. For now, Greyfield does have 28,000 income versus 24. Artillery, infantry. Greyfield's pushing up north, getting some captures going. That was going to raise the artillery piece. Next turn, a full health infantry can start capturing up the HQ. Another gunboat. Seaplanes heading up north. Another tank, our recon. Let's get the infantry unit on top of the HQ. It's the anti-tank. And right now, the submarine is in a good spot to trap stuff. You wouldn't actually run into a submarine while walking across a bridge that's currently probably located underneath the bridge. Yeah, you probably look down and like, oh, cool, look, a submarine, and get admired by it. Mech, Duster, infantry, and mech. Yep, it looks like Greyfield is eyeing for a HQ capture. He has a good number of tanks, and the seaplanes heading up north, though some of these seaplanes do need some refueling. 13 and 13 fuel. Please tell me he's able to get in range. Quadruple resupply seaplanes. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Gunboats moving around within the range of cruisers and battleships. Veterancy, max out veterancy bomber on top of the temporary airport bottom left. Does hit some infantry units there. The anti-tank's down to 1% health. Easy one-shots that donates a lot of free energy there, up to 60 energy, so next turn Brenner can pull out his superpower. Another Duster. Does take out the battlecopter, does take out the Duster. Yep, that probably would be helpful. Honestly, his own seaplanes wouldn't be half bad as well. Maybe they'll constantly resupply and launch stuff. Even full fighters wouldn't be half bad right now. Tank, seaplane. Greyfield in turn for 235. Burner has 162 with his superpower available. HQ is not currently being captured at the moment. No superpower deployment this turn. Does not take out those tanks. Fighter does get a good shot on the Duster. 2 of Seaplane does not decide to finish the 1 health Duster. Was at 1 ammo. Oh yeah, if the seaplane, if the submarine's up here, it could have got some traps. Though the cruisers now appear to be in range, HQ is being captured. Artillery provides some cover, so it can at least interrupt for 1 turn. The anti-hero is getting overran on the left side as well. It looks like Greyfield has a game in the bag. Ends turn of 232. Valid in the field versus 116. Yeah, I think Brennan needs to pop superpower and make something work. Pop superpower there, strikes the infantry unit capturing the HQ, but can be joined capture. Takes out the Greyfield seaplane. Does take out another seaplane. Takes out the tank in front of it. Rocket to really bombard the HQ. You live on desperate. Not joining capture just yet. Or he's just not at all. Does take up the anti-air there. He's still pretty far behind in value, that's for sure, though. About 3 turns? Does he got the infantry unit captured the HQ? Does get some hits over on the left side. Radar station's been hit. Has 8 capture progress completed out of 20. Be another 12 turns before we can capture it up. True, he did build maybe too many rigs, but did allow him some good control over in the seas. But he never did enter this patch of water now, did he? Well, I suppose he did with the submarine. Oh, he spotted the submarine and has it trapped. That could be a good idea, but right now 2 of them are full health. Resupplies on the rigs. Does get some strafing done. Could have been annoying if the submarine would have been dancing on some of these bridges. Hawk does go ahead and resign now. This is Angry saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. When it comes to replays, I had trouble getting to the website, so I didn't have time to find replays for this week, at least good ones. I have some probably from a couple weeks ago, but so let's do some searches. Number of players 2, number of turns at least 20. It is sort of how I search for replays. That's the replay we just did. Keep an eye on that one. That's a good amount of actions. Oh, that seems pretty good. Keep an eye on the players. Ooh, perfect Greyfield guy. What's your opinion on this Greyfield? I think his superpower is not super useful once again. +1 movement range on those various units of his is not super impactful, I'd say. And resupply materials is still limited to whether or not you go for rigs, which is basically you're going for seaplanes. So, I don't think the extra defenses or the extra movement is great. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars, These Ruined Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the left side as the cyan or turquoise, cast. We do have blue leader, off blue leader, greenish blue leader. On the right side as the red Greyfield, we got Greyfield guy. When it comes to COs, of course, Greyfield has been buffed from the cartridge counterpart, has staying boarding cost, 3 ridders, 36-60. All these get additional +10/+10. Rigs, B-copters, T-copters, seaplanes, gunboats, landers, cruisers, carriers in the CO zone get additional +10% offense, +40% defense. Rigs and T-copters cost 1,000 less. Seaplanes can be produced by airports. Of course, apply that all globally, but get material also recovered and plus movement range on indirects, or not indirects, on those units that I specified earlier. Cast, of course, is a custom CO from the cartridge using the IDS soldier car as a model. Stand boarding cost 3 is 36-60. All units get additional +10/+10. All units get additional level of veterancy when leveling up. All units get additional +10% offense if they're maxed out veterancy. And if they have, or offense, max out veterancy. And for defense, get additional defense at veterancy 1 and more defense at veterancy 2 and 3. For superpower, apply all that global and get 1 immediate level of promotion. So let's get started. Well, you see the +1 movement being used, pretty well here. I think I talk about this current game or the talking about the previous game. It was somewhat useful, but you only pop like 1 superpower. Let's see, I think the seaplanes are very strong, of course, limited in supply and ammo and fuel and all that sort, which is their big counterweight. But also brings up the last game where Brenner deployed out all those dusters, but they're not cost-efficient counter. They're 13,000 versus 15,000. That's one reason why I think dusters need a cost reduction. Problem is, only rigs at the beginning, which might as well span bikes then. True. He did go for too many rigs. This current game. Out on the zone. Well, we'll find out soon enough, I guess. So, blitzing battlecopters, T-copters, and seaplanes. And rigs. Because rigs are always useful before blitzing, right? Well, it's meant for supply lines, so yes, very useful. Because that's the nature of blitzkrieg, you tend to outrun your own supply lines. Infantry, and recon to help reconnoiter areas, so both players gone for a recon. Cass can be loaded up in any unit and be somewhat reliable. Her biggest aspect is her CO zone. But of course, for whatever units she gets loaded up into will be supercharged, so regular tanks wouldn't be that bad. So we got 2 recons for Greyfield, a rig by Cass. This is getting to an interesting game. No, seaplanes I think are okay. They're 15 equal to 2 tiers. Yep, well, that's what I'm saying. I think dusters need a cost reduction, not seaplanes. I think I'm talking about the comparison between seaplanes and dusters. Dusters are ineffective cost-effective counter to seaplanes. I think dusters the cost need to be drastically reduced from is currently 13,000 down to 10 to 9,000. Granted, as well, a lot of those were also gray-fueled seaplanes, so they have a lot of extra defense, like Whalen. We do have a tank and artillery now with one in field. Tank over here as well. No CO zone for Cass. She's definitely one who wants to get her CO zone up and going quickly. Does interrupt the capture. Artillery, tank, and infantry. Recon does hit recon. Tank, and infantry. Mech ready to be loaded up in the rig. Tank on top of the HQ. So we may see a CO tank next turn. Infantry tank. Which she does keep 6,000 funds in the bank, and she has 21,000 income. She could go for a bomber next turn. Wait, how strong is a cast bomber now? A cast sealed bomber, maybe a little bit overkill. Tank, and infantry. Does seal the tank there. .40 bomber. Oh, that's not too bad. Still pretty nice. But she did CO a tank, which makes sense. Greyfield does go ahead and CO a tank as well. He does have one T-Cod in field, which did have the cost reduction of 4,000 monies. If I pause the game, you can see it does get applied. Seeing is believing, and I believe in nothing. Double tank and infantry. Mech deployed in field. Looks like this map has two remaining properties that are still despicably neutral. This city here and the central or fully symmetric city with itself right here. Rocket, tank, and mech. You've got the rockets. That would be a little bit overpowered. Or T-Copter, okay. I was like, P-Copter discount? No, that would be a little bit overpowered side. Rocket, infantry, and 8 here. Why don't we just call it an R-copter, a Rafflecopter, if you will. Tank, medium tank, and flare. I wonder if anybody else gets that stupid reference. That's an old meme. Howdy. Battlecopter, mech, tank, and 8,000 monies remaining, so it could be another tank. Does go for another tank. Got a bit of a no man's land being established in the center. One property left. This one still in the center of the map, despicably neutral, waving the French flag. Medium tank, bike, and mech with another battlecopter. Right now, 10 energy for cast, 0 energy for gray fuel. Both players advancing with a rocket right here. Let's see, is Days Ruined version of Advance Wars on Web? Yes, it's called Tiny Wars. I will just do a quick link here. Let's see, I can post a link here. For website-wise, it is a bit more. You don't have to worry about any plugins for Tiny Wars. For it's a more complete website compared to Advanced Wars Wide Web, where you have to get all the plugins. Medium tank pusher forward, regular tank as well. Another medium tank here. And this is getting a bit of a solo game. That's the nature of some of the games. Tank, battlecopter, tank, and bike. Do you mean the Swiss flag? Actually, for a bit of time, there was actually a bit of time frame where the French royal flag was just completely white. Unironically. Plus, if you also want a neutral flag, you could also look at Belgium, the speed bump country for Germany. If you're neutral and not militant, you get Belgiumed. Yep. And also, look, place them diagonal with each other as well to help protect each other. Wait, that doesn't work in this game. Yeah. How much damage has been sustained this entire game? It's actually not that high, is it? I've not been counting, but even the amount of bloodshed in this game has been very low. The only unit that's got a kill so far this game, I think it's just infantry unit here. Battlecopter, another rig to help rig the game, anti-air. Does push forward some mechs. Into range artillery with multiple units. Does push forward the CO tank here. Does got one infantry units there, getting a lot of power charge to say the least. Will he be able to range the rocket? That is a very important question. It does range the rocket. It'll be at 5 health next turn. Oh, is Mr. Bear summoning a sandstorm? Tank does get a hit at tank. Infantry unit, bike does hit the infantry unit. And it looks like the central city is going to be captured. Mech, battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Here comes Cass this turn. There's a good chance that she does pull out a superpower this turn. Nope, she moves her CO tank. To be fair, it's one of those actually superpowers you probably want to deploy at the start of your turn, so you can get more chances for more veterancy. She does have enough power charge for superpower. It was very easy for her. Medium tank does it, regular tank hits regular tank. Another tank. Flare push forward. Does hit the recon, hits the mech. And those are the central property will be captured by Greyfield. Tank, and bike. Greyfield could possibly pop out a superpower this turn as well. Does not capture the city, you monster. One more energy, he has the superpower, but he did use his own CO tank for that. Battlecopter hits the medium tank, infantry hits mech, which you could use that infantry that was already atop the city for that, right? Does the T-copter with a 9 health infantry unit there. A lot of good hits there for Greyfield. Never so Cass needs to deploy her units out first before popping a superpower. Anti-air tank seaplane and commits base skip. Looks like Cass not pulling out her superpower this turn. Any unit that secures a kill during her superpower, it will basically be max veterancy since she'll get +1 veterancy globally. And of course, her CO zone for double veterancy will be global as well, effectively turning all the units to at least maximum veterancy. Pop superpower there. Miss out some veterancy, to say the least, but does at least get her fresh units to veterancy at least. Does he got one of the battlecopters? Hits another battlecopter. Of course, extra CO defense. They're pretty resilient. 155 is 153, so pretty even. But of course, it is Greyfield's turn. Greyfield has superpower available. One health battlecopter does not go down there. It's at 4% health. Does take out a good number of tanks there. Of course, got a nice little group of reinforced tanks. CO tank's still alive, but if it did go down, this tank can easily be re-CO'd. Battlecopter, mech, artillery, and anti-air. Captures 3 properties there. It's 27,000 versus 21,000. Central property still neutral. Anti-air artillery, keeping these units in reserve. Seaplane heading up north. T-copter low on fuel, pops superpower. That T-copter is no longer low on fuel. Because of that infantry unit there, it prevents the property being captured. Rig goes down because of the anti-air. Tank, bike, infantry, and battlecopter. Cast turn, she can probably deploy her superpower out this turn. Does sack the tank there, strikes that regular tank there. Next, we take out the tank there, giving him enough power charge for superpower. And do have now a Duster up north as well. Nothing in the region to stop the seaplane. The Duster and the Usain tiers down south only thing can stop the seaplanes. Good amount of hits there. Gets that infantry unit there, takes out the mech. Rig, missiles, bike, and T-copter. And cast his fallback for tank there. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank and tank. Another superpower popped by Gray Field. Able to get a first strike on the Duster there. Thanks that +1 movement range. Gray Field's getting a lot of good work done. Infantry, battlecopter, bike, and tank. It also does sack itself in the seaplane. No counters on the fuel to the seaplane. A couple anti-airs forward. The seaplane, of course, has used some ammo, which sacking the Duster did actually drain some ammo on that seaplane. However, we do have the rig here, but that was plus a movement range, so it's actually not in range just yet. Anti-air, and tank. Battlecopter, infantry, and double tank. Good group of battlecopters, that's for sure. Well, we got a good number of tanks down south. Cass has tools in the field. She is behind, but only about a turn and a half. It's not too severe. And she still has a superpower, which would give her quite a bit extra efficiency going. Gray Field's at 0 energy. Anti-tank bike. We do have another rig to pull in the field. This one is now trying to build a temporary airport, which is not a bad idea with the number of aircraft in the field. Rig, bike, anti-air, and battlecopter. Them 8s and 9s, the Fanatic would love. Oh, yeah, the Fanatic. For some reason, my corner of my eye read that as fantastic. Ugh. Does blow out the temporary airport. Of course, we do have a missile on the field. The missile knows where it is, or knows where it isn't. Duster is out of range of the seaplane. Tank, rocket, and mech. We'll start to push more south diagonally. Of course, got the code number artillery, got the rocket as well. Of course, we do have a second rocket up north. Looks like it to be a slow push down the bottom left. Cass still has a superpower. About 2 turns behind, 3 turns behind. Grayfield also has 27,000 income versus 22. Mech, anti-air, tank, and T-copter. Anti-tank, anti-air, and anti-air. Battlecopter, double mech, and we do not have a superpower here. Every unit makes a kill will be at max level veteran C. Oh. Well, that's one way to end the game. This Android saying, think of watching, and on to the next replay. Bit of a slow game that one was. I probably have time for one last replay for tonight. It wasn't that one. It was that one. No, it was not. But I already did one of those players, so... Ooh, that one seems pretty good. It's a mirror matchup. I think that was the one I just did there. Ooh, that was a good length. This should be fine. Yeah, let's do this one here. Ironically, Grave had more veterans. Interesting. I wasn't really counting. I sort of zoned out a little bit. There's like it was just a bunch of just waiting. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars Days Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the south side as the blue Snowwind. We got Sayaki. I butchered that name still well enough. Spawn on top of the left side as the red Will. We got Jean Bat 13. We do have, of course, Will's unchanged. The cartridge counterpart has standing boarding cost, 2 radius, 3660. All these conditional plus 10%, direct ground conditional plus 20% offense, and superpower plus 2 movement range. Snowwind's course is a custom seal. The paratrooper seal I sort of named her. Standard boarding cost, 1 radius, 3660. All units recover up 1 health and recover fuel and ammo at the start of the beginning turn. Air drops some supplies. Air units themselves get plus 30, and first infantry or mech unit can be forward deployed adjacent to your CO unit. With superpower, or she has both a power and superpower, both cost 6 energy. Choose one. Makes all that stuff global and also fire off a black bomb. Or you, of course, can forward deploy your entire army. So let's get started. The recons do start at the game weighted, you monster. Not uncommon to see an early CO unit by Snowwind, just 4 deploy infantry units there. But of course, she does need a little bit extra income to get the 4 deploy. Not to waste a base turn. I'm going to deploy that 1 unit there, and 4 deploy it by 1 whole tile. Wow. 4 deploying 1 now wouldn't be half bad. Okay, does move over there. 4 deploys. Bike and infantry. Infantry and bike. And infantry. 4 deploys infantry unit. If I remember correctly as well, the bases do 4 deploy the infantry unit, whichever adjacent tile that's closest to the base's summoning. Or maybe use the index base. Either way, they'll likely be deployed in these bottom left too. So that's why the infantry was 4 deployed before this infantry left, so it gets put right there to get closer to this city there. 4 deployed in mech. Could have deployed it over here. Maybe I was worried about the bike. Does hit that infantry unit there. Does get some good hits there. Battlecopter heading up north. Goes to the infantry unit there. Hits that infantry unit as well. Another battlecopter deployed in field. 4 deploys another mech. One infantry does manage to fall back. Does hit the tank. Does hit the mech, I should say. Anti-air, and bike. 4 deploys another mech. Mech does strike the CO tank there, but Will's now up to 30 energy. Sacks a mech there. Will has a good number of anti-airs now in the field, 3 of them. Battlecopter here is currently uncontested, but this anti-air can simply swing around. Does finish off that mech, hits the CO infantry unit now. Oops, wrong button. Tank, infantry, and tank. Does to the bike there. Tank, and 4 deploys another mech. Tank, and mech. Hits the infantry on the mount top twice. Does pull back into there. 4 deployed a mech, goes for another tank. Another tank. Let's take a bike there. Battlecopter, infantry, mech, and tank. Tank does it to tank. Another tank, and does forward deploy another mech, or maybe it was this infantry unit there, I'm not sure, and battlecopter. Another artillery, or the first artillery in the map. Ops 2 power there. Plus 2 move range globals, allow these mechs to blitz their way forward, does hit the tank there. A nice early 2 power there by Will. Join captures. Does hit that mech there. The CO infantry unit gets hit twice, knocks it out. Battlecopter, anti-air infantry, and commits a base hit. COs the battlecopter there, which will result in getting +30/+30 firepower. Let's get some good hits there. Though this battlecopter is a little bit exposed, anti-air can come around from here and go. And that's really one to hit here. Anti-air does hit the battlecopter. Battlecopter hits tank. Battlecopter, anti-air, and infantry. Another tank. Anti-air hits the bike up north. Join the two anti-airs together. Hits the tank. Hits the other tank. Just leaving the CO battlecopter in range to contest with. Does move that 9 health tank on top of the city, get a bit of health back. The bad idea for this battlecopter to move forward. There's 3 anti-air battlecopters and of course the anti-air. So probably best to start moving over here. There's 1 anti-air for Snowwind to deal with. It is safe though. Did move the battlecopter up north, so may need to get fully surrounded. Does leave both these units down to 1 health. This set was at 1% health, so that was a bit of bad luck there. Those now at +1 CO zone range. Something to note as well. Both these islands are not touched just yet. Does take out the CO tank in the center, very nice. Does check the mech in the bottom left. Or deploys a infantry unit, I think. Battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Does it the mech, and the mech goes down. The CO battlecopter is still up. We've got 2 anti-airs in the region. 1 soon to be 6 health, or actually 7 health artillery, but it's out of range of the anti-airs. Right now, Snowwind needs more tanks up north. You think it hit this rubber tank? Traves this battlecopter 4 times before falling back. She's at 22 energy right now. Does forward deploy another infantry unit there. Goes for another infantry, anti-air, and battlecopter. Does strike that tank a couple times, and now hits it for a third. Anti-air does it at battlecopter. Duster tank double infantry. Battlecopter does strike the battlecopter, gain +1 CO zone. Mech. Does it the bike. Anti-air, tank, and probably forward deployed infantry. Maybe it's that forward deployed mech. Mech goes down. Anti-air strikes the battlecopter, leaving her own battlecopter down to 1 health. Precisely 1% health. Of course, does resupply herself up to 2 health. Does move the battlecopter down here. She can now forward deploy an infantry unit there onto that city. Anti-air hits anti-air. Tanks down to 2 health. Takes out the battlecopter there. Forward deploys the infantry, or backline deploys onto that city. Battlecopter goes down, hits the infantry unit there, takes out the medium tank. Wheel feels like he's getting a lot of good engagements there, capturing the cities on the left flank, up 24,000 versus 20,000. Has effectively 100,000 value in total versus 69 plus her day-to-day income, so she's about a half a turn behind at the moment. Bike infantry and a somewhat forward deployed infantry. Should go for a duster as well. Stone's at 42 energy, so deploying out a black bomb wouldn't be half bad. Duster, bike, mech, and tank. Anti-air, tank, battlecopter, forward deployed mech. Does finish off the 1 health bike. Battlecopter, bike, gunboat, infantry, and mech. Then No Man's Land's being formed once again. We have 2 anti-airs here versus 2 dusters. 1 anti-air here versus the duster and a couple battle copters. Those strafe the meteorite. Another battle copter strikes the other meteorites. Meteorites right now 40 health and 92. Deploys on infantry unit there, probably to capture up some of those properties to flip them back. Strikes that meteorite a little bit more. Does destroy it there. Rocket is in range of that 2 health tank. Or not 2 health tank, emergency 2 tank. Of course, it will result in a base skip. More mech, more tanks. Facing up north. Right now it's just a whole bunch of mechs. It's not exactly a great item versus all the bikes, but of course it would be good against the tanks, assuming they get a shot off onto them. Battlecopter is in the region. Tank cannot range the anti-air because we've got a sea power here in the way. Another missile, tank can tank. The missile knows where it is, or knows where it isn't. Snowwind's turn. She still has 42 energy, having trouble getting any more power charge. Just trying to sneak a couple kills without dying would be very good. A black bomb would base destroy an entire flank. Anti-air bike. They also got a tank up north, hits the anti-air. Mech finished off the anti-air, hits the infantry unit. Got another missile in the field. Tank rig and missile. It is pushing forward. Will now has superpower, which can be very, very good next. Excuse me, next turn. Snowwind's battlecopter's over here, so she cannot deploy out her superpower next turn. She may get enough power charge for it, but she will not be able to deploy it. Bomber, if mech, not forward deployed. Does got that infantry unit there. Does hit that E tier a couple times. Medium tank, medium tank. No one has her superpower available, which could be decisive in order to help her break this containment. And I don't think her ceiling will go down next turn, even with Will's superpower. There's a lot of mass in front of that battlecopter. Does take out some units up north. Another bomber. Will pops through car. Does soften up that medium tank twice. It's that bike there. Anti-air will strike the battlecopter there. Anti-air hits Snowwind's battlecopter, knocking out one shot. The actual defense was not enough. And with that, probably Snowwind's lost the game. The action movements allows Will to just charge his way forward. Snowwind could steal a bomber and drop him into nuclear warheads. Anti-air duster and a pair of infantry. Does strike the tank there, hits the anti-air. Duster moving around. This duster and missile still post directed bombers. Hits the duster, hits the anti-air. Bomber advance way forward. Battlecopter as well. Bomber is in range of the missile. Duster can get a good shot on the battlecopter on the other duster. Recon, bike, and medium tank. That'll be a good turn for Will this turn. Hits the battlecopter twice. Takes the rocket. One health duster falling it back. Gets a bit of resupply there, so no longer low on fuel. Full of duster does strike the bomber. And looks like Will is going to make his way towards his HQ. Tank, and tank. Does get some good hits there. Hits the duster, hits the mech. Does strike the medium tank there, but in range of the missile, of course. Will could pop another superpower next turn, or this turn. Pops another superpower, takes out the battlecopter. I didn't realize that the missile had the airport locked down. And with that, that's pretty much game over. A lot of hits there on that artillery. Wills are now 149,000. Snowwind's down to 45. Double medium tank infantry. And she just may outright resign this turn. Yep, she does. This is Android saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay for tonight, so everyone,